What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 12 of the IncntrolGaming podcast. I'm one of your hosts, as usual, Ole, and joining me is my fellow co-host, Patrick.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm alright. I'm in control, so I'm alright. I told you I'd come up with something else.
I'm in control, yes. We are in control. That's that catchphrase. I'm going to give that one a solid 7.
All
I think
right,
we can
all
reach
right.
9.
Alright, I'll do better. I'll try reach a 10 next week.
Yeah. That's your homework. But guys, if you didn't know, this is the IncntrolGaming podcast, your one-stop shop for all the latest gaming news, trends in the industry, various video games that are coming out, what we've been playing, topics, all that good stuff happening right now in episode 12. And we should add, Patrick, that you're wearing a very interesting t-shirt today.
I am wearing an Overwatch t-shirt, buddy. And it's brought to you, wait, let me explain to them before I explain to you. Do you want a video game t-shirt? Do you want Overwatch? Or do you want, this is my advert voice.
I love it.
Do you want Cloud from Final Fantasy VII peeking out from your t-shirt? Or do you want Geralt from The Witcher 3? You can get everything from Urban Geek. And Urban Geek provides t-shirts of all pop, comic book, TV, and gaming apparel. So, whatever you think about, whether it's Super Mario, if you want Yoshi in your t-shirt, do you like Yoshi?
See, I love Yoshi.
Yeah.
He's a green goblin. I love him.
Do you want maybe Batman?
Batman, I love Batman. They've got The Witcher as well. They've got Star Wars stuff. So they've got a whole host of various designs and franchises to go on t-shirts.
That's Urban Geek with an E.
Urban Geek with an E.
They like the E.
An E at the end of urban.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And
so
you can find them on Facebook and Twitter. And just get in contact with them, and then you can get everything for affordable prices.
Yeah, guys, so definitely shout out to Urban Geek, and you guys should definitely take a look at that. So without further ado, Patrick, let's start off as usual with our first section, which is the news. To begin with, we got some pretty sad news to begin with. This happened at the end of last week. We found out that Visceral Games, which is a studio under EA, has unfortunately been shut down. They are a studio who developed games like Dead Space, which I'm sure many of you have played before, as well as they created Battlefield Hardline. They had been moved, as soon as EA acquired the Star Wars license, they had been tasked with creating a single-player, action-adventure-focused Star Wars game. As you'd expect, now that the studio is being unfortunately shut down, the project as well is dying with it and being repurposed into something else. I should add that the creative lead on this Star Wars project for Visceral was Amy Hennig, who was a director from the Uncharted series through 1 to 3. She worked a bit on 4 before she moved off and went to EA. So this was going to be like her cinematic action-adventure, big Star Wars game. Yep. And the rumors are that it was called Project Ragtag, and it was going to be a gritty, like down-to-earth, kind of like a Rogue One-ish Star Wars story. But we never had any footage of this. So you guys, probably the best footage you're going to get from this playing over our voices is developers at desks saying how much they love Star Wars. There's literally like 2 seconds of footage from the game ever, and it's been in development for like 3+ years. But Patrick, Visceral shutting down. Really sad story. Our best, as always, as you'd expect, to all the developers who've lost their jobs. We hope that they're able to find new work soon. Yeah. But what do you make of all of this?
Well, most of them were given the opportunity to apply internally
for other positions. Yeah.
But in terms of Visceral itself, I think that the last game that I played from Visceral that I generally enjoyed was Dante's Inferno.
They did that, right?
Yeah, they did Dante's Inferno.
Before they were relabeled to Visceral. Yes, they were Redwood Studios.
And then when I played a little bit of Dead Space, but I didn't jump into it. But then the idea of a single-player shooter horror,
in space as well. Sci-fi, exactly.
But the Star Wars idea did come out really good. But apparently they released the whole. They released the demos of the game to the board, and they just said no. So then it kind of starts to ask you about what level is EA aiming for when it comes to third person shooters, in fact, because this was supposed to be a cinematic kind of game,
exactly,
isn't it? And this was their bargaining chip.
Tying right into that, EA's VP Patrick Soderlund had, I think I butchered that surname, had something to say about this on an EA blog post, as you would expect. He said, "Our Visceral studio has been developing an action-adventure title set in the Star Wars universe. In its current form, it was shaping up to be a story-based linear adventure game. Throughout the development process, we have been testing the game concept with players, listening to the feedback about what they want to play, and closely tracking fundamental shifts in the marketplace. It has been clear that to deliver an experience that players will want to come back to and enjoy for a long time to come, we need to pivot the design." There it comes in. What does EA think about single-player games that aren't going to be a service, that aren't going to be infested with microtransactions and loot boxes? Because Star Wars Battlefront allows for that, FIFA Ultimate Team allows for that, Madden, those sort of games. But this would have been a one and done. You buy it once, you trade it in afterwards, and it's not going to make the kind of revenue that EA are looking for.
They say that they're going to be focusing on single-player games, but single-player games don't always involve the monetary aspect. And even though they say that it is not a priority, I think that thinking about it, in terms of EA as a whole and the company, their identity is kind of lost.
Their identity is totally lost because beyond sports and Star Wars, what are they?
Yeah, exactly. And I still think that other people may think that single-player games may fade away in the future, but I still lust for a single-player adventure.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to produce it in any way, then... And there are sports... Essentially, they're focusing on sports, isn't it?
Sports and Star Wars. I mean, that's kind of it for them.
And even Star Wars has got its level of uncertainty, especially with this microtransactions thing.
Yeah,
it was never a big thing before, but then
now
there has been a microscope being put on microtransactions.
Exactly. So it's that kind of thing. Like, will the next Battlefront sell as much because of the microtransactions? Yeah. And we should add that this game, the assets are being kept from Project Ragtag, and the other studio taking over. I think it's EA.
Ragtag wasn't even that good, though. Have you ever thought of that?
It's a good chance, because if you guys should definitely check out Kotaku. Jason Schreier, who's a writer there, has a brilliant in-depth piece behind what happened with this game and how things fell apart. It's not all on EA. The developers themselves really were trying to bite off more than they could chew. They were going to have 6 different playable characters, all with different abilities, that sort of thing. They wanted to have space travel as part of it. Like, they were trying to do a lot with this game, and I think they did, like I said, bite off more than they can chew. So the blame kind of has to be, it can be fairly applied to everyone involved with this.
I know,
but
I know
EA mismanaged it big time.
I know we've delayed on the topic a lot, but don't you think that if Visceral are under EA Games and they are in constant communication, even though there were rumors of disputes and arguments between the two, don't you think that EA had they gave that impression that you can shoot for the stars?
Yes, they did, because like in Schreier's piece, he talks about some sources who worked at Visceral say, to an extent, Soderlund, the VP, he gave them too much room. Because they tried to restructure themselves to work like Naughty Dog, because that's what Amy Hennig is used to at Naughty Dog, no producers, no middle management. So they tried to put that in, and EA were fine with that, and they said, you guys go for it. So I think they did have a lot of rope, but at the same time, EA has to kind of step in and make sure that a cohesive product is being formed out of this. That didn't really happen. So it's really sad that the developer has been shut down. I love Dead Space myself. You like Dante's Inferno. But like we said, we hope the developers can, find new work. Most of them are talented enough, and they will. But it's sad to see that this game we probably won't see until 2020 plus. And but that's the world of game development. But sad story, really sad story anyway. So let's move on to our second news piece. This is to do with Paris Games Week happening on Monday, 30th October. Hopefully you guys are watching this before that. But PlayStation is having their media showcase at Paris, which is similar. It's going to be a media showcase similar to E3. The show is going to begin at 5 p.m. our time, 5 p.m. local time, Lusaka time, with a pre-show at 4 p.m. where there'll be 7 new game announcements. I'm guessing these will most likely be a few smaller titles, but I just want to maybe ask you quickly, like, what are some of the things you're excited to see at this conference?
In all honesty, it feels that Paris Games Week is one of those moments where you show the viewers that, hey, this game is coming.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure if I want to see games that are coming out in 2-3 years' time. So I'm expecting to see a little bit more of the same. If I can see a little bit of Red Dead or something.
Oh, you're not getting anything.
Yeah,
Rockstar don't do trade shows.
Like, look, if I'm thinking about the AAA games, and if you're going to be showing us Last of Us, we're not going to see it anytime soon.
I don't think we'll see Last of Us, but I think the projects that have been dormant for a long time are going to get some exposure. So stuff like we were talking about earlier, Dreams, which is Media Molecule's new creation game, basically, where you can create your own type of game. That's been really quiet for a couple of years, so we need to see something from them. I would also really like to see, this is a probably obscure game no one knows about, but Wild, which is the guy who created Beyond Good and Evil. It's kind of like this open world nature kind of game where you play as like this tribe who can basically like possess all the animals in this world and stuff. It looks really cool, really fantastic art style, but it's only had like one real big demo. So we need to kind of see a bit more of that. And I would like to get some updates on stuff like Detroit Become Human, probably with a firm release date would also be nice. And, you know, possibly maybe Sucker Punch, even though I feel that's more of an E3 thing.
Yeah, Sucker Punch, I think they're only going to come out with the big guns at
E3. Yeah, that would probably make a little bit more sense, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think the wild one, which people should probably look out for, is Devil May Cry. The game director has been teasing fans on Twitter for quite a long time now, more than a year. And Capcom and PlayStation are pretty close to each other. I don't think DMC would be exclusive. No way. It would be on everything.
But
it's a good place
I do think that it's going to be a place where we are going to see stuff that's going to come out later. Even if we do see something from Spidey.
Yeah, I would definitely like something from Spidey.
Yeah, they're gonna showcase things that we already know are out there. I don't know if we're gonna see anything.
I think there'll be. I disagree. I think we're gonna get quite a few new game announcements.
Yeah.
They may not be mega AAA, but they will be major enough and interest us enough that we'll be like, oh, that looks pretty cool and stuff. Yeah. So guys, watch out for Paris Games Week. There'll be a live stream, but of course you can catch the archive on PlayStation's YouTube channel and watch everything for yourself whenever you feel like. And our last news item, this is basically to cover a lot of new games are coming out this week and in the following week. So we just wanted to highlight a few of those. I wanted you to yell out hot or not.
Okay.
Not hot or hot. Should we say man's hot, man's not hot?
Man's hot and man's not hot.
Say that for each of these games that are coming out.
Yeah.
So this was the trifecta that came out. We're recording on a Saturday. This came out on the Friday yesterday, the 27th. Super Mario Odyssey.
Man's hot.
Wolfenstein 2.
Man's hot.
Assassin's Creed Origins.
Man's is semi-hot.
The Evil Within 2.
Man's not hot, but I hear good things about Evil Within 2.
Okay, and finally, which is coming this week, following week, Destiny 2 PC Edition. We've got a few PC guys here.
Wait, before I even say anything about this PC game, I don't think our fans know that this is a PC edition episode.
It is.
So I'm gonna say man's hot.
and to cap it all off, because these guys will crucify me if I do not mention this really big game that's come out, RPG, is Divinity Original Sin 2.
Divinity.
Man's hot, man's not hot?
Man's hot.
Man's hot.
Man's hot.
So So guys, those are like some really big games that came out yesterday and are coming out in the next week. I know a few of you will be interested in some of those, like Assassin's Creed Origins, maybe Mario if you have a Switch, Wolfenstein 2. Yeah, there's some really, really good titles coming up. The fall games are upon us, man. The barrage of games is coming down.
The Evil Within 2, I might jump on that. I didn't jump on 1 though.
Yeah, but it looks pretty cool, yeah.
It's pretty good.
But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up from us for this news section, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. Tune in to the next section, which is the next two sections, which are going to be PC specific focus editions about how to get into PC gaming and what these chuckleheads have been playing on PC. They've been playing that Minesweeper, sorry.
Yeah, Minesweeper.
If you want to play Minesweeper on PC, then they've got your number. Solitaire, they've got Solitaire. So guys, exactly. That's why you build $1,000 PC to play Solitaire. So thanks for tuning in to this. Make sure you guys tune in for the next two PC focus segments. Thanks so much, guys.
In control.